Board of Elections will call to order. It is Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Madam Secretary?
Chairwoman Jonathan,
Present.
Vice Chairman DeSalone,
Present.
Member Betancourt,
Here.
Member
Present.
Member Giacalone,
Present.
Member Gutierrez, here, Member Scholes,
Present.
Executive Director Miguel Nunez,
Here.
Legal Counsel Rita Karcher.
Present.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Item number 1 on the agenda, the board may discuss and vote to approve the minutes of the meeting of March 4th, 2025. Everyone's had a chance to review the minutes. I'll ask for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
I will
Any
abstain. I don't
opposed?
believe I was present.
And 2 abstentions.
And I would abstain as well.
I
Thank you,
wasn't
Madam
present
Chair.
either.
Oh,
So
gosh.
it's, I won't vote for it.
Okay, 3 abstentions, and the ayes have it. Agenda item number 2, the board may discuss and vote upon the recommendation from the Legislative Committee on the attached election legislation to be submitted by the Board of Elections to the General Assembly for the 2025 legislative season. And I will turn it over to Madam Chair.
Thank you. So we will start, there's several bills that the committee looked at, but to sort of be organized, we're going to, I would like to first share the pieces of legislation that we voted to support, or we voted for the companion bill. So that means that, and you'll see them in your packet, these are pieces of legislation
Can I
that,
just interrupt you
sorry.
for one moment? That's for 2 is Commissioner Jack Boney's
I'm
legislation.
so sorry.
So we have to address that one first
Thank
before we
you.
move on
I
to 3.
apologize.
Do you want to cover that with,
No, you can cover that if you would. I can do that. Sorry, my brain was somewhere else. I apologize. Yes,
okay, so, go ahead.
thank you. Okay, I'm so sorry. Let's rewind. It's been a
okay.
Tuesday. So in the committee, we looked at we were going to look at the new additional changes that were provided from the commissioner, but we decided that because, and when our meeting was just maybe last week, right? Because we're getting so close, we're halfway through the session. And you'll also see attached a letter that we received from other organizations, and we received concerns also from Secretary of State's office. We sort of believe that there was a lot of work that may need to be done in this piece of legislation, and doing this right now while we're in the middle of session would require a lot or more sort of different type of work that in the legislative session that may need the focus of our executive director. So our recommendation was to bring to the full board the recommendation that we take on this legislation and start working on sort of like the purpose of it at the end of the calendar year, not as close to January, but hopefully months before, so that we can have more like the time necessary to really clean up the proposed bill to what the commissioner sort of intended it to be, and that we can find some work or support if we can from others. So that was our committee recommendation. I don't know if the other 2 members have anything they'd like to add.
Also keeping in mind that this wasn't a piece of legislation that's been introduced yet.
Correct.
So
Correct.
And yeah, the General Assembly has a break next week. And after that, things move a lot faster, and it would have not only going to take a lot of work, but also to sort of
And the
push
chairwoman
things
of our
around.
committee generally volunteered us to do the work.
I do volunteer to do a lot of work.
Continue the work, yeah.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Any discussion on this, on number 2?
Would it be appropriate to make a motion to continue this matter
Mhm.
for further review? Yes.
It would be.
That's an appropriate way to handle it, if you wish, yep.
Okay.
My motion.
Did you have a sense of when you want to continue it until, though? If you're going to put it in the motion, maybe specify at least the month. Are you thinking maybe September or?
Yeah. When do we start putting legislation together? September or October? At least. Okay. So can we say November?
So November, meeting in November.
Okay.
So we have a motion to continue this item until November. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor
Except,
signify.
sorry, I have a
Oh,
question.
sorry,
Is
further
that the full
discussion.
committee, or the legislative committee to?
Yes,
So-
the legislative
Yeah, we'll
committee,
s-
so we can review the legislation, and we would love to definitely sit down and look into it before then if we want. But I think taking it as a subcommittee probably before
I
then.
think that makes sense.
That's fair.
Thank you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions? The ayes have it.
Okay, I'll move into
Back
3.
to
I'm
you.
sorry. Thank you,
No,
Miguel.
don't be sorry.
I don't know what number is what. Okay, so as I was mentioning, the subcommittee looked to into companion bills from those that the board had fully already voted on. So I am happy, and so we're in this next section, we're going to, as a full board, just two separate votes or two separate discussions. One is we'll share with you those that we have just simply voted on the companion. So you'll see them here, and I'll highlight them for you. And then the second part of this will be pieces, the recommendation that the subcommittee has for specific bills that have not come in front of the board at all. And there's, I think, like maybe 2 or 3 of them. So I'm happy to read, starting on page 1. I'm happy to start reading from the bill number. So we'll start with the Senate bills. And again, just to reiterate, this means that if we're voting for the Senate bill, it means that we have already, the full board has already voted for the companion House bill. Feel free to stop me if anybody has any questions. So the first one is Senate Bill 513. I have a question actually as I'm saying this. Can we just vote for it as a whole, just the ones, or do I have to do individually?
You can, so long as there aren't any
Any comments?
exceptions. If there are any exceptions, then you're gonna have to go back and
Okay.
just break it down.
Perfect.
If I may.
Yeah.
There were some no's on for me,
Yeah.
from this previous, so would it be better just to make the motion to
Oh,
have just to say, confirm, have the same vote of
Ooh, good
the previous bill? You know what I'm saying? Like, say if we voted one way, how do you want to go?
Or
One
should we
by
go
one.
by
Yeah,
We
I'm
can
not,
do one by one.
I'm not familiar with any ability just to reference previous votes. I think you have to go through it
I can just do
Well,
it one by
that's
one if
fine.
you want.
Not to mention, I wasn't here to make that.
Yeah.
so
I'm
that,
not happy.
That's
about
fine.
it.
It won't take-
That's okay.
I forgot about that.
That's okay. I'm happy to.
Let's do
Is
that.
it okay if I just say the number and I trust that you guys can read the what do you call it, the summary? If there's any questions, we can stop if that's okay. Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
Cool. So again, Senate Bill 513 by Senator Padalano. We voted to support that piece of legislation as well as its companion. Do we have a motion? Actually, I think the chair has asked for a motion. I can't vote for a motion this
I
one.
was gonna, yes.
Sorry.
Any questions or needed discussion about this one?
yeah, just a point on that, Madam Chair. I think we should at least, and very briefly, put in something that summarizes it, even
summarizes
if
it?
it's just several
Perfect.
words, so
Absolutely.
that the
Yep.
public that might be listening to us knows exactly what
Thank you
that's
so
a
much.
reference to.
Happy to.
Thanks.
So this piece of legislation would increase the number of voters that a polling place can accommodate from 3,000 to 3,500, and provides existing polling places that exceed the number of voters to not be changed until the next decennial redistricting.
Thank you. Do we have questions, concerns, or a motion on this subcommittee vote to support?
Move to support.
Second.
Moved and seconded to support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
The next piece of legislation is Senate Bill 517, which would allow citizens of a city or town who are at least 16 years of age to register to vote in a school committee election. This is a companion bill to the House bill that the full board voted to have no position on.
Great. Anything on this? Not. Does someone wish to make a motion?
So moved.
You're moving to
I'm moving to
support the no
support.
position. Yeah,
Yeah,
I knew what
sorry.
you meant. I just want to say it out loud.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
1 no. Any abstentions? The ayes have it.
520 by Senator Basilian would modernize and streamline existing processes for getting onto the permanent mail ballot application list. And the full board voted to support the House companion.
What is
Support,
that?
voted on the bill, nope, sorry, voted on the bill
We
language.
voted on the bill
Voted on bill
language.
language, had not
So,
been,
Yeah, so that.
yeah, sorry,
just-
thank you, they had
just
not been.
If I may, Madam
Mhm.
Chair, so we voted to,
Yep.
the full board voted to support.
Mhm. What does it look like?
Bill language hadn't been presented.
Hadn't been
that
presented at the
point in
time, yep, thank you, because this was back in February, I see it now.
It's here, I
Mhm.
think it's here with
Mhm.
the package
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
Is it the same language?
Yes,
And if you see at the end of the paragraph, if you see a CA or SOS, CA is Clerks Association, that's a Clerks Association bill, and SOS is Secretary of State.
I was gonna ask that, thank you.
So that's number, is it
520,
520?
Clerks Association.
Toward the back, I think it's the last one, right? That's 520. Well, it's the last one in my package.
And this is, Mike Narducci had a big role, who's in the audience here in drafting this bill, so he could confirm for us if it's the same language that the Clerks Association put before us, at that meeting. He says it is.
He says it. Confirmed. Any questions or discussion on this bill? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Make the motion to support Senate Bill 520.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Then the ayes have it.
The next bill is 521 by Senator Burke, and it would require the prospective party chairperson to submit list of party voters to the mayor of city or city council president, as the case may be, within 30 days notice of vacancy in a municipal election office, and would require the mayor or city council president to make a nomination for the replacement of the party, of the council within 30 days of the receipt of the list. So similarly to the last piece of legislation, the board on February 12 voted on the bill language. Nevertheless, the House bill itself had not been introduced at the time.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion on Senate Bill 521?
I'll move to support.
Second.
Moved and seconded to support. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
522 by Senator McKinney would require that all write-in votes, regardless of the qualification, be reported and published by the State Board of Elections on our website. Again, on February 12th, the full board voted to support the bill language, but the bill itself had not been introduced.
I'm sure I have a question about this
Of
one.
course.
I'm not quite understanding it. So you're saying every write-in, all of the Mickey Mouses and the
Mhm.
Donald Ducks
Mhm.
have to be reported on, what is the rationale for that?
I can explain.
That would
So-
be helpful, maybe because I missed it, but I'd like to hear this.
Well, this is a Clerks Association bill this year. We tried at least 3 to 4 sessions to get a writing bill passed, and this is the simplest one that's been put forth yet. What it does is it requires what we already do. What we essentially do is we already post on our website the actual snapshot images of every write-in. So when the machine goes through the DS-850, the high-speed tabulator, if it's a mail ballot, or at the precinct, the DS-200 actually captures an image of the exact write-in in the voter's handwriting that they wrote in. And we have the ability to export that file, put it in an Excel sheet, and post it on our website. So if someone wanted to go in and see that they put a write-in in for their pastor or their sister or whoever it is, they can go in and they can see that write-in being done there. And if a nonprofit or if an organization wanted to go in and actually tally all those write-ins themselves, they could certainly do that themselves or do a survey of them. But the local boards of canvassers or the Board of Election staff, to which I testified at the House, that we spent about $15,000 in seasonal employees to tabulate these write-ins, we wouldn't have to do that unless the number of write-ins exceeded the candidate on the ballot, or there was no eligible candidate on the ballot. Then we would have to go to the write-in. And I don't remember, but one of the top three was that squirrel who was in upstate New York. He was one of the top three vote getters in write-ins, other than Mickey Mouse and the usual. So the board supported this companion legislation and the companion bill, and I testified on his behalf in the assembly.
Thank you, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Now I
Thank you.
understand, yeah.
So Commissioner,
Thank you for
I
asking.
suppose you had the
You had the
concern
same
of sitting
question?
on a local board, but this at least doesn't require them to actually hand count them as I know you did many times in the past.
And if the clerks are in favor of it, then I'm sure that it's
They are.
appropriate. So I'm good, thank you.
Thank you,
And you
Commissioner.
had to count them for sure.
Yes, I do.
Do I have a motion on Senate Bill 522?
Will we approve or
Second.
support, I'm sorry?
Second.
Moved and seconded to support. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
Senate Bill 524 by Senator Keziah would require that the state use the actual residence of person in government custody for redistricting purposes. And the Board of Elections in March 4th voted to have no position on the House bill.
Any questions? Do I have a motion on Senate Bill 524?
Second.
Move to take no position, yeah,
Correct.
thank you. Moved and seconded to take no position on Senate Bill 524. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it.
Senate Bill 541 by Senator Loria would increase from 7 days to 9 days the period of which to request a recount of the votes cast made to the Board of Elections. We voted to support this on March 4th. We voted to support the House companion.
Great. We came into some close timelines this year, so I think this is
Mhm.
a good move. Any other questions on this?
I move support.
You move support of Senate Bill 541.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
Senate Bill 569 by Senator Zurier would require that to add early voting to the 50 feet buffer prohibition against politicking on election day. And the full board voted to support this on March 4th, the House version.
There's no discussion. Do we have a motion on Senate Bill 569?
So moved
Second.
to support it.
Moved and seconded to support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
Senate Bill 729 by Senator Tokoyan this act would consider election officials and poll workers as public officials for the purposes of prohibition of making threats to public officials. And on February 12th, the full board voted on the bill language, yet the House bill itself had not been introduced.
Any questions on this? Do I have a motion in regards to Senate Bill 729?
I move support.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
Senate Bill 741 by Senator Otakis would amend several statutes relating to elections and the dates of primaries. On February 12th, the board voted on the bill language, yet the House bill had not been introduced.
Thank you. There's no questions. Do I have a motion on Senate Bill 741?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to support Senate Bill 741. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
Senate Bill 819 by Senator Dimitri would require the local board of canvassers to publish early voting dates, hours, and location at least twice in a newspaper or general circulation within the city or town. Again, on February 12th, the board voted on the bill language itself, yet the bill itself had not been introduced. So we voted to support it.
Any questions? Okay, do we have a motion in regards to supporting Senate Bill 819?
So moved.
Moved to
Second.
support
Mhm.
and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
Senate Bill 820 by Senator DeMario, it creates a joint resolution that would propose to the voters of the state a constitutional amendment to remove the 30-day state and local residency requirements for voter registration. On February 12th, the board voted to support the bill language, yet it had not been introduced. So this is same-day voter registration.
Any questions or comments on this bill?
I'm sorry,
Yes,
this is specifically for the constitutional amendment, though. This is not.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
It's a joint resolution, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay,
I'll make the motion to support Senate Bill 820.
Second.
thank you. Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
And so I'm just gonna go through the next one. The next one is actually the first time it appears in front of us. Since we're going one by one, this will be easier to just get rid of. So Senate Bill 816 by Senator De Palma would create that the deceptive and fraudulent synthetic media and election communication chapter to regulate the use of synthetic media in elections. The subcommittee voted to support this piece of legislation, and this is a Secretary of State bill.
Well,
What is?
question.
Yeah, yes, I am.
What is meant by
Synthetic media.
Does anybody from the Secretary of State's office want to tell us about it?
Come on up, Kathy.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Kathy Placencia with the Secretary of State's office. So this regulates synthetic media or image, audio recording, or a video recording of an individual's appearance, speech, or conduct that has been intentionally manipulated with the use of digital technology to create a realistic but false image, audio or video. Does that answer your
Oh,
question?
yes,
Interesting.
very nice. Thank you. Vote to support.
Second.
Motion to support Senate Bill 816. All in favor, motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
The next bill is Senate 907 by Senator Thompson and redefines political party and defines and distinguishes between major parties and minor parties based on a total number of votes that a party's candidate received in previous election. The subcommittee voted to have no position on this piece of legislation.
Any questions about this?
Just have a general question, which we might not know the
Of
answer to,
course.
but
Mhm.
I can see the definitions here, but I don't know where else in the statutes that major and minor would be
Mhm.
mentioned. So it's unclear to me what the effect of this would be. So I
Yeah.
presume that drove here.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Do we have a motion in regards to Senate Bill 907?
I'll move to take no position on that.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to take no position. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
Moving on to House bills, House Bill 5711 by Representative Brian. This act would require verification of an applicant's date of birth and either their Rhode Island driver's licenses number on all applications seeking mail ballots or emergency mail ballots. And on March 4th, the board voted to oppose its companion and the Senate. So this is we recommended to continue to oppose it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this bill? Hearing none, do we have a motion in regards to House Bill 5711?
I'll move to oppose.
Second.
Moved and seconded to support opposing House Bill 5711. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
50, House Bill 5873 by Representative Roberts would do very much the same, would require verification of an applicant's date of birth and their driver's license number on all applications seeking mail ballots. And on March 4th, the board voted to oppose its Senate companion.
To oppose.
Second.
Motion to oppose House Bill 5873. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it.
House Bill 5708 by Representative Fascia, I hope that's how you pronounce their name.
That's right.
Okay, thank you. This act would allow for automatic voter registration for Rhode Islanders who are applying for a hunting and fishing license, similarly to how they do at the DMV. This is the first time that we would do it, and the subcommittee voted to support this legislation.
Thank you.
It would, just to clarify, it would actually be the same processes and procedures that the DMV has voted on,
Uses
and the
for
same
regular.
guidelines and safety guards that we already use for thousands of Rhode Islanders.
Do we have a motion? Oops, go ahead.
Not available. It means that we don't have it yet. Sorry, the commissioner was asking what
Oh,
those, and the NBY, it just means that we
We've
don't have
never
a.
seen it, but
yeah.
Not voted yet. I'll make the motion to support House Bill 5708.
Second.
Moved and seconded to support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
Okay. 5710 by Representative Perez. This act would reduce the number of signatures needed on a nomination paper for candidates to be delegates to the National Presidential Convention to 50. And it would also amend and reduce the number of days before an election for which nomination papers must be submitted. Thus, the committee voted to support this legislation.
How many signatures are required now? Do you know?
500?
I believe
100? 100? There you go.
150.
Perfect.
So reducing from 150 to 50.
So we think it would help our local canvassers to not have to do, just doing 50 signatures instead.
Mhm. Do we have a motion on House Bill 5710?
I'll move to support.
Second.
Moved and seconded to support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
Okay. 5712 by Representative Edwards would establish fusion voting in Rhode Island, allowing candidates to appear on ballots as nominees on multiple political parties for the same office. It would create a comprehensive procedures, and it goes on to it. The subcommittee voted to have no position on this bill. We learned that New York has this. We learned something new that day. Yes.
Interesting.
So I take it, somebody can run as a Democrat and as an independent.
Yes, correct. That's what we were told. I learned a lot that day.
Love learning. No, if there's no other
I'm sorry, I do
discussion.
have a
go
question.
ahead.
In reading the
Yeah,
bill,
yeah.
I'm not sure if that's true because you'd have to get an endorsement from a party according to the bill. So I don't
Yes,
think,
so you can be endorsed by multiple parties, basically.
but not as an independent. There's no endorsing body in that case.
Yeah, so I think,
So it could be like the Republicans and Libertarians or the
Mhm.
Democrats and the Socialists or something like
yeah,
that.
so I think from what we heard that day from Common Cause, as he was explaining to us that this happens in New York, was I think this is also an effort to, because it also amends actually, so at the end of it, I'm so sorry I didn't get there, it would actually also reduce the threshold for political party qualification from 5% to 1%. So to your point, I think part of the whole bill is actually to help create, support and sort of make it a little easier. I don't know if easier is the word I want to use, but more accessible for different parties to exist, because then, to your point, it would be easier for you to run as an independent or as a Green Party or as a Working Families, et cetera. Again, I learned a lot. Didn't know this was a thing.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move to have no position on this.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to have no position on House Bill 5712. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any
I'm
opposed?
going to say no.
One opposed? Abstentions?
All right.
The ayes have it.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
can't
No,
find my
that's okay. No,
words.
you're good. I can't either. So House Bill 5713 by Representative Edwards would prohibit members of any elected city, town, political party, committee, as well as representative Senate district committees from serving on local canvassing authorities. And the subcommittee voted to oppose this. Part of this was, and the other members can speak to this more, is I think it's already difficult enough to recruit members, and making this prohibition would make it a little bit more difficult.
Any other questions or anything to add by other committee members?
But aren't the canvassing authorities supposed to be sort of like the neutral arbitrators of election issues? So if you have a member of a candidate who's on that canvassing authority, won't there be a little conflict?
My recollection is that actually in the enabling legislation for boards of canvassers, they reference the parties. So you have to have, which by its very nature presumes that you're affiliated with it.
Yeah, I understand that, but if someone's running as a candidate, can that candidate also be a member of the canvassing authority?
Well,
But this is people on the party committees.
I don't know what would happen. They certainly couldn't have anything to do with that particular election. So I don't know. I haven't considered that.
Well, I haven't read the legislation, it's not here, so I really can't comment too much on the legislation, but I'm just looking at the title as to what the impact would be.
I think it's a noble intention to make sure that the local canvassing authorities are as objective and distanced from the process as possible, but it seems on a practical basis, this would be very difficult to, it's already difficult to get people to come in and serve in that capacity. So they are opposed to it. That would be the canvassing authorities are opposed to it, or a clerks association.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Do we have a motion on this piece?
Motion to oppose, House 5713.
Second.
Moved and seconded to oppose. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
Bill 5874 by Representative Cruz would make it easier to vote for people who are eligible to vote who are incarcerated at the adult correctional institution. It would create a position of a voting coordinator within the Department of Corrections to help facilitate incarcerated people who are eligible to vote to start from start to finish. This is the Secretary of State's office spoke a little bit about the work that they've already done in this area, but the committee voted to have no position on this legislation at this time.
Is this the first time this is coming up, or has this been introduced before?
We've never seen it.
Yeah, I don't remember ever
Is it?
seeing
Yeah.
it.
But it sounds like from what we heard that some of the work is already happening with
Yep.
the Secretary of State's office. But yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
I just have a question. If you're
Yeah.
incarcerated, I'm not sure exactly, it probably depends on the level of the crime,
I
Yeah.
but
think so.
is there, who is incarcerated that can actually vote?
Well, it would exclude felons. So if you're in for a felony,
Yeah,
that's my memory of when I
Yeah,
read
I
this,
recall.
what is before the committee. So there's an exclusion for them.
There are people who are incarcerated who are not
Yeah.
felons.
not felons, okay.
Not convicted.
They're awaiting trial because we have a
Oh, thank you.
weird system
Thank you.
Mhm.
that keeps
That's-
people
that's,
in
I
jail.
think, the missing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's a whole other conversation. Yes, so
Well, I hope to see this come up again and go further personally. In the meantime, do we have a motion?
I'll move to have no position on this bill.
Second.
Moved and seconded to have no position on House Bill 5874. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
We did too.
I think there might be an error in the last one. I thought we voted to support that last one.
Yeah, I seem to recall supporting
Yeah.
it too.
Yes, yes.
I remember speaking in favor of it. but-
Yes, yeah, so
We
we moved to support it? Okay, so ignore what it says. It was a little mistake.
Can we do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
this
just,
is,
it's just,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
just for,
This is just for
Yeah.
us. They don't know.
the vote is what counts.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, Bill 6092 by Representative Boas would make several amendments to provide for an online nomination paper portal for election nomination papers. This is the Secretary of State bill. And as that's why I was so confused, because we were all very excited that this could be an option so that it could make our job a little bit less difficult when we have to review signatures. So the committee voted to support this piece of legislation. And I believe it's already been heard in the House.
Thank you for that. Madam Chair, any other discussion
Oh, we
on
have to
this
vote on it.
last one?
We have to
Yeah,
vote-
no.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, no.
My bad. I'm sorry.
No, you're
Ignore
good.
me, I'm sorry.
No, I would never ignore you. Do we have a motion?
I'll move to support the bill.
Second.
Moved and seconded to support House Bill 6092. All in favor?
Oh, sorry, I
sig-
got a question.
Oh, yes,
Sorry.
sorry.
Yeah.
I asked for
I-
questions.
In the
We
wrong
moved
document.
on.
I decided.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
My question is, there's language, sorry, I can't find it. I read it when I reviewed this about having to put in the driver's license number. And this may end up being in the actual application. If this passes, that the Secretary of State has to make rules
Promulgate
around
it,
this. Is the intention to verify that
Yeah.
license number?
Do you want to tell us?
The intent is for it to act the same as it would for a voter registration when someone's applying to registering to vote online or applying for a mail ballot. So we use this for your driver's license.
And your-
access to the portal.
Is that checked against another database to make sure? Do you
So
know?
that is, yes, so it does run against our CDRS, and you have to be able to, by central voter registration system, you have to have a driver's license, or state ID in order to access the portal.
Okay,
The same as you would if you were registering to vote online, or if you were applying for a mail ballot.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to support House Bill 6092. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the
Thank
committee.
you for bearing with my brain.
No, that was good. Item number 3 on the agenda, the board may discuss and vote upon the recommendations from the Legislative Committee for the Campaign Finance and Elections legislation submitted by other persons and entities to the General Assembly as described in the attached legislative summary during the current legislative term.
That's the one we just did.
Oh, we did two,
Yes.
oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
Number 2
okay.
was that singular bill.
Oh,
And this was the
See, it wasn't just me.
combined.
got it. Is that okay? Okay, well, I didn't read that initially to start. Is that okay that
That's- Yeah.
we don't have to go through it all?
Well, Madam Chair, what do you think you missed?
Well, I
You
read
didn't read
I
it.
read
agenda item number
Right, she didn't
2,
read the full
and we
text
just
of
went,
number
I
2.
didn't read the full text of number 3 before we reviewed the summary.
I think that's fine.
Okay, thank you. We all thank you. Item number 4 on the agenda, the board may vote to meet in executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5 subsection A, subsection 4, and 17-25-5 subsection A, subsection 7, subsection I, to discuss and/or vote on possible violations of campaign finance laws in 3 campaign finance matters. Do we have a motion to meet in executive session?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? re-adjourn open session, resume open session.
So moved. Oh,
Moved
second.
and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, abstentions? The ayes have it. And I'll turn it over to
Okay.
council,
All
general
right,
council.
thank you, Madam Chair. There are 3 matters to report out of the executive session. The first involves Karen Elzate. This was an audit of her campaign account, and based upon discrepancies found by the Campaign Finance Office, there was a recommendation to enter a consent order proposed by Mr. Thornton and his staff. There was a motion to adopt the proposed consent order by Ms. Maderos, seconded by Ms. Betancourt. All voted in favor, none opposed. All 7 members were present. The second matter involves a campaign finance report performed on the account of Stephanie Smythe. After finding discrepancies with her reports and her bank account, Mr. Thornton introduced a draft consent order for consideration. A motion was made to adopt that consent order by Ms. Betancourt, seconded by Mr. Giacavone. Again, all voted in favor, none opposed. Finally, with respect to the campaign finance account of Bradford S. Dean, Mr. Thornton indicated he conducted an audit. Based upon that audit, he made a recommendation for the adoption of a consent order. That a motion was then made by Ms. Maderas to adopt that consent order, seconded by Mr. Giacavone. All voted in favor, none opposed. And that's it, Madam Chair.
Thank you, council. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, abstentions? The ayes have it, and we are adjourned at 4:39 PM. Thank you, everyone.